Hi everyone, welcome to the channel. Thanks for coming by. I'm Kelly. I've got another quilting video for you. I'm not sure exactly why the light colors on this quilt top are showing up a bit yellow, but I guess it's just the funny lighting in my craft room. A couple years ago, or maybe it was 2018, I forget, I did a class on how to do this method, which is called string quilting. And you make up each block on a foundation and use small strips or strings of fabric. Some of these string blocks are made out of all dark fabrics. Some are half dark, half light, and some are all light. Some of my light fabrics are not as light as they could be, but the overall effect, you can still see it. I think down the road I will be a bit more careful about my lights, but I've also made another one of these and a heart that I designed myself. One way to tell for sure if your lights are light enough and your darks are dark enough is to take a picture of your blocks with your phone on the black and white setting, and that will tell the tale. The way to do these string blocks is by foundation piecing. Now, this looks like a hot mess. I have not removed the paper. This is old phone book. I did a class for this. This piece of phone book paper is cut 7.5 inches square. I use an old rotary cutter blade specifically for cutting paper. I don't waste my new ones on it. So it looks like all heck on the front. And then once you have them sewn, you just use the edge of the paper as your guide and you trim them off. And I'll show you guys how to do that as I go, because I'm going to make a few more. Once you have them all trimmed up and the paper removed, okay, some people say, I don't want to remove paper. Okay, fair enough. You can do this version of this sewing with a background of like cotton, muslin, something like that, that's not too heavy. It'll make your quilt bulkier and thicker, but that's okay. It's not the end of the world. I don't mind ripping off paper, so I don't mind doing it this way. So, trim it off. Then it looks like this. There's a few extra light squares I got ready to go. These ones haven't been trimmed down yet, though. They're still too big. They have to be trimmed to 6.5 inches. These ones have been trimmed to 6.5 inches and are ready to be used. So there's a 50/50 one, and another 50/50 one, and another one, and then I have a bunch of all dark ones. Ready to be used, and there's another 50/50 one. Because I only want my paper foundations to be 7 inches, using an old phone book is perfectly fine. The yellow pages, whatever. I just sort of pull the pages out a few at a time. We have 3, let's see here, 3. Just get yourself a few ready to go. To make one of those star blocks, you need 16 7-inch by 7-inch foundations, however you want to do that. However, you can easily make string blocks rectangles. That's fine too. If you wanted to make larger than 7 inches and use paper, I got one of these scrapbook things from the dollar store. It's 9 by 12, so you could even make 9-inch blocks. Make them bigger. Whatever. The paper's pretty easy to cut a few at a time. If you want to just do one, though, that's up to you. Just line them up as best you can. I've kind of lined up this edge because it's the tidy edge. And it's just about 7 right across. I have my 10.5-inch ruler ready to go, and the 7-inch line is lined up on the edge of the paper on the far side. I'm going to scoot this back just a tad. Hopefully you can see me cut. The camera's focusing kind of funny on this plastic ruler, but we'll have to go with it the best we can here. Okay, hold it down, and now just to make sure you actually have it 7 inches, make sure that the raggedy edge is over on this side, and the nice edge you just cut is on this side, and there. Actually, it's on the bottom, but that's okay. So you have two beautifully straight, fresh edges. This one and this one. As I go and bump the paper. Okay. So, in order to get it straight, these are square up rulers. So I go 7 down here and 7 down there, and I can make a 7-inch square. So back to how I had it over here. 7. And bring it the corner where it says 7 right down to the corner of the paper. Make sure you're all lined up. And actually, this is ever so slightly short, but it doesn't matter too much because we're going to cut them down to 6.5 anyway. So I'm just going to leave these the way they are. The next thing you have to do is mark your center diagonal line. So use your ruler, whatever one fits, and a relatively dark pen. A fine tip Sharpie would be okay. Even a dark pencil would work. You just want to be able to see it. And draw a line. Well, that's not quite in the corner. There we go, that's better. Sorry, my hand's kind of in the way of the camera, but just so that it's relatively easy to see. Here, I'll lift it up. See what I mean? A pen line, a dark pencil line, dark pencil crayon, whatever, as long as you can see it. Because these star blocks are meant to be scrappy, it's the best idea to use different widths of fabric. So in this bag is my wider, 2.5 inches-ish. I just trim stuff off and throw it in here and keep the supply going. This box here, skinnier strips. That one's about 1.5 inches. Some of these are more like 2, but I can trim them down too. It's not exactly a perfect method, but it's close enough. So those are skinnier, generally. All of the light stuff I keep in this bag, wide or skinny, doesn't matter, I just chuck it all in here. And these are little chunks. I call it small pieces, but little chunks, essentially, for when you get down in the corner. As you go through the block to get down to the corner, you don't need a heck of a lot. So a little bit's good just to finish off the block. So I keep small-ish bits, although that one's kind of big, but whatever. Small-ish in general.